next one we're going to talk about is the DBX trackers, which of course are quite popular. Global counters which track foreign indices but in rands. We often talk about the European one and the US one, but let's talk about the UK one today, which follows the FTSE 100. But remember, tracks it in rands. So Nerina will explain to us what that means in a minute. It's got about R1 billion worth of value in issue with investors. So just explain to me that thing about how you've got a foreign index, which is the FTSE 100, which you can look up on all of the websites and so on. But that's a sort of a, well, I won't say it's a pound index, but it's a number. It's
denominated in pounds.
And then you bring it back and you convert it to rands.
Indeed. So the practice is that the Deutsche, who issues this ETF, will take your 100 Rand in South Africa, it will convert it into pounds, it will buy the underlying shares on the FTSE, it will, and the value that you've got then is linked to two things. It's the performance of that FTSE 100 index in pound terms, but it's also dependent on the Rand-pound exchange rate. When you sell it again, the reverse process takes place. They don't physically take the money every single day, but you get the idea. So they would reverse it and you would actually get rands again when you sell your investment in South Africa.
So they've done well because the rand has tended to weaken. You know, we know when the British English cricket team was here, they were singing on the stands about how many rands they get for their pounds. And then also I think the FTSE's done quite well because generally we've been in a rising market with the one proviso that the FTSE's got quite a lot of mining stocks in it as well.
So let's look at where we've been with this one. So all of our international investments.
Well, the graph can come up now, so let's have a look while we talk.
With the, all of the international investments have done really well during this period of rand weakness. So far this year, in 2016, all of the international investments have underperformed because of the rand. But more so this particular one, the FTSE 100, because of what you're saying in terms of the mining shares, but also because the pound has actually been one of the worst performing, so relative for the rand pound, that's not been the best performing currency.
So what you're saying is that the rand did badly against the pound up until the beginning of this year, but since then the rand has actually recovered a bit and the pound's having a bad time because of that whole Brexit thing.
Well, that's I think a very important one for us. So when we look at an investment opportunity now into the UK, I think it becomes very much a view on will Brexit happen or not. And I think that's really what underpins all of this. Yes, there's a lot of mining in FTSE 100, but it's not the only thing. There are a lot of financial companies as well. And I think the UK stock market have been under pressure for the last 3 to 6 months because of fears of Brexit. So this is where the ball is.
I believe the Brexit thing's not going to happen, but I'm not like an expert on it. I just think that it would be a mad thing for the British to do, and I think the prediction markets are saying that they think it's unlikely. So would you be a buyer of this thing if you believed, like I do, that Brexit is going to come and go? And
absolutely. So I'm like you also, not an expert on it, but I'm also not of the opinion that Brexit will take place, and I think there's a lot of bad news priced into the UK market at the moment, which I think will then come out of it, and therefore recovery should Brexit not take place. So on that premise, I'm
and also the sense perhaps that Europe and the UK have been very calm with interest rates, but that at some point or another there's likely to be a bit of an uptick in UK interest rates. Then you would imagine also that there would be potential for the rand to weaken a little bit versus the pound, and then for this thing to make us some more money as well.
So a lot of this is also about how the dollar will perform relative to the pound or the euro, and I do think that there's some catch-up to be done, that the rand will weaken more against the pound than it will against the dollar, for example.
Although it should be mentioned that betting, gambling, taking investment, speculation in political events can sometimes be a bit tricky. Because
so it comes with that caveat.
Sometimes you know, we see things happening in global politics which you think, oh well, that's definitely going to cause markets to move in one way and then it moves in the other.
Exactly.
But as far as this one, you like it?
I do like it, and I wanted to illustrate how one can exercise a political or an economic view that you have on a particular region in the world by using an ETF such as this.
And as much as one might say, if you want to go offshore, it's worth going to the trouble of organizing foreign exchange clearance and all of that. If you're in a trust or a company, you can't get that.
You can't do that.
So then these kinds of units are quite attractive.
Exactly. And for the retail investor, whatever you invest in these international ETFs on the JSE does not count as part of your annual offshore allowance. So it gives you the ability to actually invest a bigger part of your portfolio effectively in international markets by making use of these.
Okay, so as far as it goes, and with the usual caveat about, you know, global politics, and we're hot on the DBX.
I'm certainly hot on this one, yes.
Okay, good.